Today on Fulton at Work. The amazing rescue by Fulton's first responders of a bull trapped in a well. We'll hear about how the multi-jurisdictional partnership made all the difference in the animal's release. I'm Priscilla Ortega. You'll literally see Fulton at Work firsthand when we come back. Hi everyone, I'm Priscilla Ortega. By now you have likely seen or heard about the amazing rescue by firefighters of a 1,500-pound bull who was stuck in a well in South Fulton County. The bull was much larger than the hole it fell into, and needless to say, it took a carefully planned out strategy to get him out. Fulton's first responders were on the scene, and thanks to them and fellow firefighters from other jurisdictions, after many hours, the animal and the onlookers were safe. Now, if you haven't seen the rescue for yourself, take a look at our raw video of the moment the 1,500-pound bull was hoisted by firefighters and a crane. See, I told you that rescue was amazing. Well, when we come back, we'll talk to Fulton's Deputy Fire Chief about this first-time experience for the department. Stay with us. Welcome back to Fulton at Work. Today we're talking to Deputy Fire Chief of Fulton County, Charles Stubbs, about the rescue of a 1,500-pound bull from a well in South Fulton County. Deputy Chief Stubbs, welcome to Fulton at Work, and great job and congratulations on your team's rescue.
Thank you for having me.
Now, your team had many people glued to their computer screens watching this dramatic rescue live. But let's start from the beginning. Tell us, what was your reaction when your team got this very unusual call?
Well, the first arriving unit was thinking, was this bull just in a ditch or what it was? And when they arrived and saw that he was in a 15-foot hole, they just started figuring out their options to how we could get this bull out of the hole.
Okay, so your team is now on the scene. Now set the stage for what they did first.
Well, the first arriving unit found the bull in the hole, and when we arrived, the bull was actually jumping, trying to come out of the hole, but it was too deep. So we started to access the county services to get a backhoe out there so we could dig a ramp for him to just walk out of the hole.
And there were many jurisdictions that came out to help. Talk about the need for that.
Yes, ma'am. After the ramp was dug, the bull decided he wanted to take a nap or rest because he was tired, so we couldn't get him out. And we started calling the local rescue people, and Milton's large animal rescue team from the City of Milton Fire Department was dispatched to us, and they came with the Cherokee County large animal rescue team, which they just happened to be training together that day. So they all came to help us get out.
And you also called the U.S. Department of Agriculture, correct?
Yes, ma'am. We were trying to get a veterinarian to come out, and we called a few people, and we ended up getting a gentleman from the U.S. Department of Agriculture who is a bovine specialist. And when he arrived, that's when he advised us that the way the animal was laying in the bottom of the hole, his rear legs were probably asleep, and that's why he wasn't coming out of the hole on his own.
Okay, so tell me, what happened next?
So the Milton Animal Rescue Team arrived on the scene, and they used some straps that they have specially designed for large animal rescues and a crane, and we lifted the bull up and got him long ways on the ramp that we had for him to leave out of the hole, and he rested there for a few minutes, and his rear legs woke up, and we started pulling him out, and that encouraged him to come straight out of the hole as everyone saw on the TV.
Now, there were other strategies that didn't quite work. Like I saw at one point there was water. You guys were like using some sort of food to lure him out.
Yes, ma'am. We talked to a bovine specialist who told us that Brahma bulls when they get mad, they sulk and pout, and that this one was probably just sitting down sulking because he was mad he was in the hole. So he gave us the tips to pour water on him to make him mad to come out, or give him some food. And then after those didn't work, we finally decided to just pull everybody away from the hole, because we needed to wait for the Milton team to arrive. And while we were waiting, maybe he'd just get tired of laying down there because he could see his way out and just come out of the hole.
So what was your crew thinking throughout this whole time? I mean, this was like a couple of hours, right?
Yes, ma'am. This was about a 6-hour process. We were at points we were wondering what we were going to do, because the bull didn't want to come out of the hole by himself. We tried to coax him out. We even put a lasso around him one time and pulled, that he chose not to come. But when the Milton team got there, they had the equipment and the expertise and the training to get this bull out of the hole, and luckily it was a good outcome for all.
So like I said, this was several hours that you were on scene, and by that time there was a big crowd of media, and they were, wanted to get their shots. So talk about how you also had to protect them as well.
Yes, ma'am. After we made the ramp for the bull to come out, we made sure that all the media and any unessential people were outside the actual fence. So we set up an area for the media to have a good shot at the bull, and throughout the process of trying to get him out, they would keep calling me and say, "Hey, you're blocking our shot, you're blocking our shot." So I did my best to keep it open for them to have a great straight shot at the bull. And as luck would have it, when he came out of the hole, he ran straight for the media. He went right over to the fence for his close-ups.
And so I guess you spent a few hours with this bull. Was he like a family pet, or what was the situation?
Yes, ma'am. This family got this bull when he was 3 months old, and he was like a family pet to them. They had a few cows over in another pasture, but this was the bull and the head of the pasture, and he was a close family pet. There was a 4-year-old boy there that kept saying, "Get Boy out of the hole. That's my boy. That's my boy." And that was the bull's name, was Boy.
So you had a lot of pressure from the family, like, they probably thought of him as another family member.
Oh, yes, ma'am. They said for sure that this was considered a family member for them, and they were at points choked up because they couldn't get this bull out of the hole. And at one point they were thinking the worst, but luckily it all turned out well.
Now, did you have a vet there, monitoring the bull throughout this process?
No, ma'am, we never were able to get a vet on scene. We did get the gentleman from the Department of Agriculture who was a bovine specialist. He just, he came out and assessed the bull from what he saw, and when the bull came out of the hole, everyone watching him said he was fine. He had no scratches or cuts or bruises, thank goodness, from the fall.
So the bull will probably live a happy life now.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we hope. When they turned him loose in the pasture, and when he got into the big pasture, he ran straight for the watering hole and got him a big old drink of water, and then he had to assert his dominance again, and he chased a few of the cows around.
Okay, now there was some other equipment there. Talk about the GSAR truck that y'all used.
Yes, ma'am. We brought our GSAR truck. That stands for Georgia Search and Rescue. The gentlemen on that truck, they're trained in trench rescue, trench collapse, confined space rescue, and we brought them out especially to see if there's anything we'd do with that team before we called the large animal team. And they were also our experts on making sure that the walls of this well weren't going to collapse in on the bull as we tried to dig around it and dig a relief path for the bull.
All right, well, there's plenty more to talk about. We'll get your play-by-play for how you eventually got this bull out when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Fulton at Work. Today we're talking to Deputy Fire Chief Charles Stubbs, who helped coordinate a very dramatic rescue involving a 1,500-pound bull from a well. Take a look at the rescue. Deputy Fire Chief of Fulton County, Charles Stubbs, has been talking about the strategies that didn't work, and you delved into a little bit about what really finally got the bull out. Talk a little bit more in detail about that technique.
Yes, ma'am. When the City of Milton large animal rescue team arrived, they had some large 6-inch straps, and they had a tool that they could use to go under the bull even though he was laying on the ground to get the straps under him. The first strap they used, they put on there, and we started to lift, but it was too much on the bull's rib cage, so we had to back off that. And they brought a second strap out, which was a cross strap that was able to go across the bull's under his rib cage and out to other sides where it was an easier lift. And that's the eventual strap that was able to lift the bull and get him out where he could get circulation to his legs again.
And is he like letting you put these straps around him, or is he putting up a little bit of a fight?
The bull in the hole was actually pretty dormant. Matter of fact, during the rescue at one time, he went to sleep. While we were waiting on him to come out, he just decided he was tired and took a nap. But as we were working around the hole, the most we ever got out of him, he'd lift his head and look at us to see what we were doing. But he was never aggressive toward us while he was in the hole.
So he probably realized you guys were just there to try to help him.
Yes, ma'am. That's what we're thinking, especially since he was the family pet and used to being around some people. He was there. He knew we were there to help.
Okay, so now the bull is out, and now your goal is to keep him from charging all the crew and media that is watching.
Yes, ma'am. We used a fence of red mesh that the Milton Large Rescue Team brought with them to try to funnel the bull into the large pasture. But as you can tell from the video, that didn't work. But luckily, everyone else was outside the barbed wire fence, and the bull had had enough of us and was ready to get on to his regular life. So he went around one of the far ends into the large pasture.
And now this obviously isn't a call firefighters usually get. Talk about how this was like a great learning experience for your team.
Yes, ma'am. Firefighters handle a lot of different calls, but in my 35 years, this is the first bull in a hole that I've ever responded to. But we do handle a variety of calls. Our GSAR team has been used to get animals out of sewers. We've cut some kittens out of pipes that they've got stuck into, and we've got some tools and equipment to do that. And some of the lessons we learned from this is to call our help a little bit sooner, and we're trying to get a network of veterinarians that we could possibly call just in case something like this were to happen again and we had to tranquilize the bull.
So it obviously was a team effort with many organizations.
Yes, ma'am. As I stated, we called the Milton Large Animal Rescue Team, and they were working in conjunction with the Cherokee County Fire Department Large Animal Rescue Team, and they were at a training exercise together, and they all just came down. And using both those teams, and that's just how we work together in the fire department. If somebody's got something that you can use, you call them and they'll bring it, and we can work together collaboratively to solve the situation.
And you got a little bit of the backstory from the bull too. He was a family pet. The little boy loved him.
Yes, ma'am. They again got this bull when he was 3 months old, and now he's 3 years old. And the little 4-year-old boy was very emotional when he came out of the hole. He was over with his dad, but during most of the rescue, the little boy and dad stayed right up by the hole until we started doing all the technical stuff, and then they stayed outside the fence with their family, and that's where I saw them getting a little emotional because they were scared at times that we weren't going to be able to get boy out of the hole. But again, we had a good outcome.
Great. Now, was this the most unusual rescue your team has done?
Yes, ma'am, it was. And again, like I stated, in my 34 years, this is the first time I've ever seen a bull down in a hole, and this was the most unusual and most complex rescue that I've ever been a part of. And our GSAR team, who handles structural collapse and trench rescues and stuff, this was their first time to deal with a bull, but they have gotten dogs out of sewers and stuff like that. But this was the most complex and largest one we've ever had to undertake.
Well, let me get your final comments today.
Well, again, I'd like to thank the City of Milton Technical Large Animal Rescue Team and the Cherokee County Fire Department Large Animal Rescue Team. Without them, we could not have gotten that bull out of the hole with success like we did. It would have taken us a whole lot longer. And so I'd like to thank them, and I'd like to thank everyone that came out and worked real hard on that, because it was a collaboration between the 3 fire departments, Public Works with the backhoe and the tractor, and the owner of the animal, who was giving us support and telling us things about the animal.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and telling us that interesting story.
Thank you very much for having me.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you again, Deputy Fire Chief Stubbs, for coming and sharing the inside play-by-play on this rescue. Again, your team did a great job in rescuing the bull and keeping the crowd safe as well. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton at Work. Now, if you want to see the raw video again, go to our YouTube channel at the website on your screen. We'll see you next time.